Okay, y'all, I'm here with another review. I'm so sorry. Like I said, I'm trying to catch up with all my shows. I promise y'all, it's a lot going on right now for me. But anyway, let's get into it. So this is the season finale of the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. I'm not sure what episode it is. I have to look that up. But it didn't seem like they had a super long season. But you want to know what? It's okay. Normally, I think a lot of times with the Real Housewives, the first season is normally not a lot of season episodes. It's probably for like just to make sure that the show's gonna catch on before they try to renew it and then give it an extra long season. So I will be back next week for the reunion. Next week, I'm gonna probably upload my video right after the reunion is over. So it'll probably be my review will probably be up by like 9 or 10 o'clock, whenever 10 o'clock probably. So let's get to it. There's a lot to talk about, but there's not a lot to talk about. I feel like I got a lot of notes, but whatever. We'll get to it. So the whole episode is pretty much based around Heather opening her beauty lab. She's opening up a new spot, or a new part of her franchise, whatever the case may be. And she's trying to get everything together. So we start off by seeing, Heather. She's trying to get everything together, talking to her team. So Whitney comes in to come and visit her, whatever. And they have a quick talk about Vegas. And Whitney is like, hey, have you talked to Jen since you've been back? And she's like, no, I haven't talked to her. I don't really know what to say. I didn't review last week's episode, but I did watch it. And I think part of the reason I didn't even want to review it is because, like, by the time I seen it, it was like way after the episode had aired. But also, I feel like I gotta come on this camera every single week and say the same thing about Jen. Jen takes no accountability for anything. It's always somebody else's fault. It's always this person's fault. It's always that person's fault. She never takes accountability for any fucking thing. And out of everybody in this group, I will say that Heather has been the main one to have her back. And for her to pretty much give Heather her ass to kiss is fucking ridiculous as far as I'm concerned. So I understand why Heather's in her feelings about it. So yeah, so Whitney was like, look, like, did you invite her to your opening? And she was like, I mean, I didn't like invite her recently, but I did like invite her before in the past. And Whitney's like, girl, if it was me, I would call Jen right now and uninvite her, because this is like my business. This is nothing to be like snapping out about. And I do agree to a degree with Whitney, because we see how Jen handles herself. It's not the best. So I don't know if I would have let her come either. So then we got Lisa. She goes to the bar and come to find out she's meeting up with Jen or whatever. And Jen is like, well, thank you so much, because you're the only person who's reached out to me since Vegas. But this is how I feel about it. I feel like how everybody else is. Jen, you're the one who fucked up on that trip. Like, you're the one who pretty much caused all of the downfall and all of the turmoil during that trip. So why should anybody else reach out to you? You should be reaching out to everybody else to apologize for your... Ooh, I'm trying not to curse, y'all, because the more subscribers I get, which is like the more like YouTube is gonna recognize my stuff, I gotta stop cursing as much. So I'm trying. It's just really hard because they irk the hell out of me. So it's hard. But anyway, but you need to be the one that's apologizing, not everybody else. So Lisa says that she's like, well, when I'm sitting here and I'm listening and I hear, that you allegedly said this about Meredith, and I'm like, well, I don't think she's ever talked about me, which is, Lisa, you would be a fool if you think Jen has never talked about you. You are a fool and then some. But she was like, yeah, Whitney told me, but when I was there, Whitney was like, well, she actually has talked about you and she's tried to find dirt on you before. I'm gonna get to Whitney in a second about how I feel about Whitney. But then, here comes Jen. My main problem with Jen is, like I said, Jen doesn't take accountability for anything. Like that, one thing I appreciate when they went to go see I don't know what it was, the life coach, whoever the person was, the woman that they went to go see. I appreciate that when they was all in that circle and Jen kept, quote unquote, apologizing, but she kept saying other stuff. Thank you for what that woman said. That woman said, there is no conditions on I'm sorry. It's not I'm sorry, but it's not I'm sorry, but it's not I'm sorry and I did this, because it's a simple I'm sorry and that's it. There's no qualifiers. There's nothing about that. And that's what Jen doesn't understand. Jen wants to make an excuse for everything that she does. It's always, oh, well, I'm just loyal. Oh, well, I just really care about I'm just really passionate about everybody. Oh, now she's sitting here telling Lisa, oh, I'm defensive because me being in Utah and being around a whole bunch of white people. Now I'm not gonna take it away from her that she probably has ran into some issues with her being, I mean, she ain't black, but she's not white either. You know what I mean? Like, I can understand the issues that she's probably run into, but in my opinion, from where I sit, I feel like Jen, you have tried, I think the majority of where Jen's problem comes from is that you have tried to assimilate so much into the culture of Utah or into white culture or whatever the case may be, that I feel like that's where a lot of your problems come from. You are trying to assimilate so badly. To me, that's why you want to be friends so badly with Lisa and Meredith, because you want to assimilate and be just like them, and that's not who you are at the end of the day. These white people will never accept you. I'm serious. And when I mean never, I don't mean Lisa and Meredith. I'm just saying as a whole, these white people will never really accept you fully. So you changing this about you, from having plastic surgery to the way that you dress to the way you carry yourself, is not going to make these white people invite you in anymore. So you might as well just calm the hell down as far as I'm concerned. So yeah, so then she talks about, Heather, whatever, and she's like, I'm really mad at Heather because Heather came at me. No, you're mad at Heather, and I have it multiple times in my notes for this episode. You are mad at Heather because out of everybody around you, Heather actually holds you accountable. Heather is actually a really good friend, because a really good friend is going to check you and tell you when you're wrong. They're not always going to kiss your ass. Oh, I can't wait to get to the end about what Heather said, because that was a fucking bar, what she said at the end. But facts, a real friend is going to check you when you're right or when you're wrong. Point blank, period. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And especially, I feel like Heather did it the right way, because she didn't even do it in front of everybody else. She went to your room by herself to have that conversation with you, and you didn't want to hear it. That's your problem. You're mad at Heather because Heather is holding you accountable for the shit that you do, which you should be, okay? So after going back and forth and talking in circles, finally she gets to the point where she's in her confessional and she's like, okay, well, I do realize, that even because she said it and it's a fact, she was like, the same reason why my husband is mad at me is the same reason that my friends are mad at me, which is that I can be a little bit too much. I need to learn to take it down a couple notches and meet these people halfway. I'm like, yes. And I think that's what probably frustrates me the most about Jen is Jen knows exactly what she's doing. She knows exactly what her problem is, but for some reason, it's like you acknowledge your problem, but like people say, where are the actions to show that you're actually doing anything to fix it? Because I hate people who feel like, oh, well, I acknowledged it. Oh, well, I said that I'm sorry. Okay, but if there's no change behavior behind that apology, you could have kept it. You could have kept it to yourself. So that's Jen's freaking problem. She gets on my damn nerves all the time. So, oh, also, I do have in here, because, Lisa is talking about, oh, well, I just felt like I should reach out to her and, make sure that she's okay and all this. I just find it funny, though, that Meredith is supposed to be your best friend, right? So I'm not saying that you have to not talk to Jen, but my question is, why during that whole conversation not once did it come up? Well, okay, fuck, you didn't say anything about me, but my question is, why was you going around talking about Meredith and her husband? If that's your best friend, you needed to check Jen at that point in time. And granted, it might have not been none of Lisa's business, but I feel like with Meredith being your quote-unquote best friend and Jen being your friend and you trying to be a medium or whatever the case may be, you should have said to Jen, well, all right, you might have never said anything about me, but I do think you was out of pocket for what you said about Meredith and her husband. And like I said, I'll get to a little bit more how I feel about that in a minute. So then we go to Meredith and Seth, and they're doing fine. And it finally, well, no, it came out last week, sorry, because I didn't do my review. Because Meredith sat down amongst all of the girls, minus Jen, and said, seeing how it's been talked about, yes, me and my husband has been apart. Yes, me and my husband have been seeing other people here and there. I knew it. Go back to like the first couple episodes of me reviewing this show. I've been said Meredith was seeing somebody else. That's why it took her so long to get back with Seth, because she had another man. That's why she was like, I know, I be knowing what I'm talking about. So her and Seth are talking, and she's like, yeah, the trip was annoying because you got girls talking about our marriage, and I feel like that's nobody's business. And Seth was like, look, this is what you should have said. You should have just put it out there. Yes, me and my husband has been going through some things. Yes, we dated other people, but you want to know what? That's none of y'all business, and we are back together now, and we're working like hell to keep it together. Seth really don't give a fuck. He don't have a problem like saying what it is that they went to. I think Meredith, and I don't know why, maybe Meredith really is just like a more personal person. Like, I don't really like a whole lot of people to know my business. There's nothing wrong with that. But yeah, so she was just like, she was pretty much fed the fuck up with Jen for doing that. And my thing is, because fuck, I'm gonna just say it now because I'm gonna probably forget. That's my whole thing. Meredith has the right to be as mad as she is with Jen, and then especially when she goes like, I can't wait to the reunion, because I want to hear what she has to say about the shit Jen was saying, like, to Whitney and stuff. Because it's one thing for you to hear that somebody was talking about your marriage, but for you to see on TV, like, not once but twice, she has talked shit about your marriage and alluded to you talking to somebody else. If that's something that I told you in confidence, Meredith got every right to be pissed off. See, like I said, Meredith got the right to be mad about, because that really is the definition of trying to go and be in the middle of somebody's marriage, right? However, Jen, what you're mad at Whitney about, it doesn't fucking correlate. Whitney brought some information to you at your husband's party. Should she have done that? No. But guess what? You're the one who fucked up your marriage or whatever you want to call it, or caused all of that because you didn't know how to control your reaction. So, like I said, it's not the same. It feels like I'm saying, I don't understand pretty much how is Jen mad at Whitney for Whitney's quote unquote role and quote unquote fucking up her marriage, but you don't understand how you did even worse when it came to Meredith. All 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 Whitney did was say to you, oh, hey, somebody said XYZ about you. You talked about this whole woman's marriage. You talked about her talking to other people, being with other men. That's not your place. She gets on my nerves. So then we got Meredith. Oh, sorry. Then Whitney goes to see. Oh, I'm in a lot of pain. I'm sorry. Whitney goes to see her dad or whatever at his salon. At a salon or whatever. He's almost done with his 90 days. Is it 90 days with his sober house? And so he had Whitney come so he can, he is I think he's trying to be an instructor at that place. So, he does a little tutorial, and, that I'm glad that her dad's doing good. I really am. Then we have Meredith and Heather. Meredith goes to go see Heather. I think it was at her house. I think it was her house that she went to go see, and I think she's moving out of that house. I'm not sure. She's moving out of somewhere. I think it was her house. And so, Meredith, keeps saying throughout this episode, which I believe, and she said it to Seth, I just feel like Jen is so miserable. Jen to me is really the definition of misery loves company, because like she said, Jen got so much going on and she's so miserable that she is willing and ready to fuck over everybody else and fuck up everybody else's marriage so that she ain't got to worry about her own. And I believe that. And Heather pretty much said, she wants an apology from Jen, which I feel like she deserves. She's like, I want an apology. Like, you sat there, you was the only person who raised your hand and said that you didn't trust me, although I've been the only person that's really been your true friend out of this whole group. You pretty much smacked my hand away, or pretty much tried to hit me when all I was trying to do was, help you out. Like, no, like she said, I'm not gonna keep running and kissing your ass left and right, just for you to, I'm not gonna pretty much be running behind you just for you to give me your ass to kiss. Heather's fed up, she done, and I understand that. So then we go to Lisa, and Lisa is talking to her marketing coordinator, and they're talking about the line or whatever that her kids had came up with. Now, this is my whole thing about this. This is my whole thing. And then her kids come in and her husband come in. This is how I look at it. Number one, I mean this with the absolute love of God when I say this. That younger one, right? The younger one, this is not for him. This is not something. Okay, hold on. Before I go there, let me say this. Lisa talks about how, with her husband complaining about, her being on the phone and not spending a lot of time, that she figured, okay, well, this is what we're going to do to spend time with each other. Okay, number one, how I look at that is this really, it is spending time with each other, but it's still based around the business. And like I've said before, there's nothing wrong with you helping your child start a business, but I don't think this is what your husband meant when he said y'all need to just spend time together. Why didn't you book a trip and go to Maui? Why didn't you book a trip and go to Disney World? Why didn't you pick an activity that has absolutely nothing to do with work or getting money? Because that's Lisa's problem. Lisa has an issue with trying to always get money, girl, and there's nothing wrong with trying to get money, but even to the point to when your husband says we need to spend quality time together, you still want to make it about a business when that's not what it should be about. Or you should be spending time with your kids, just spending time with them, not always adding in an element of making money or a business within it. There's nothing wrong with showing your kids work ethic and helping them build out a brand, but I personally don't feel like that's the definition of really trying to spend quality time, because at the end of the day, we're spending quality time with something that that your sons came up with, but it's still revolved around business, which is what your husband said you need to take a step away from. Okay. But I also want to say, the reason why I feel like this really don't work is because you could clearly see in that meeting that youngest one don't give a fuck. He not paying attention. He too young to even care. Yeah, he might have came up a little bit of something with his brother, but that little boy don't care. He don't give a fuck about nothing y'all talking about. Now the older one, he seemed a little bit more level-headed. He seemed like, he's a little bit more cool about doing it. But that other one, you see, he was jumping around the room. He wasn't paying attention. She kept saying, "Oh, my boys, this is something my boys can do." No, this is something that your son can do. The other one, he's not gonna pay attention to no shit like this. So you need to find something else. That's why I'm saying, Lisa is not, she's not paying attention. She's just not paying attention. And she gonna say, "Oh, well, there's no disputing that I'm a good mom and I'm a good wife." Bitch, I got receipts on both of those things. I got receipts on both of those. On how somebody could say that you're actually not, sis. Somebody could say that you're not. Like I just went through. Your definition of spending time with, you can't spend time with your kids unless there's a profit coming from it. And that's how somebody can say that you're not the best mother. You don't put your phone down for all of 2 seconds to spend time with your husband. Somebody can say you're not a good wife in that. And like I said, I really feel like out of everybody in this cast, I really feel like if anybody goes through a divorce or a separation, it's gonna be Lisa, because she's not listening to her husband. You're just hearing what you want to hear, but you're not really truly listening to your husband nor your kids. Get Lisa off my TV. I don't even want to see her next season. She's a waste of space and time as far as I'm concerned on this show, okay? Then we go to Mary. Mary's going to do choir practice with her congregation. And it's funny because I had already seen that clip like on Twitter like a couple days before the episode came out. And there's not much to say about that other than, number one, the choir sounded a hot ass mess. But number two, why was her congregation so happy to see her? Like, I want y'all to go back and rewind that scene. When Mary came into the church, bruh, there were people jumping up and down like, oh my gosh, Mary's here. And it just gives more credence to what people be saying about how your church is allegedly cult-like. Just saying. And also, I want to say, like, I just find it really funny that, Mary, you got all of this stuff, right? You got a big ass house, you got multiple houses, all of these nice clothes and stuff, but like, I feel like your church could look better. Personally, I feel like your church could look better. Why the people in the band playing on that basic them basic ass instruments? Where the high tech shit at? I don't see the money being put back in the church. Physically, I don't. Just saying that. So, no, please don't tell me all of that stuff got erased. Are you kidding me right now? I can't believe all of that. Hold on. I think all of the rest of my notes got erased. That is so trash. I'm so mad. Hold the fuck on. So, I'm sorry. Let me try to get my notes together because I really think everything got erased. But then Coach Shaw and Jen, they go out to salsa dancing. Coach Shaw has set it up for her because he said, she's always wanted to go salsa dancing and he never did it with her before. So they end up, okay, good. Okay, cool. It's here. I thought all my shit was gone. Anyway, so they go salsa dancing. And first of all, shout out to Coach. Coach Shaw, he's such a fun time. Like, I see why Jen is attracted to Coach Shaw. He just seems like he's a lot of fun. I said, you better dance, Coach Shaw. You better dance. He was really getting into the get down. I was here for it. So they went on a date. And, she apologized to him for the way that she acted. And he apologized, for his lack of attention to her. So then we go to the opening of Heather's place. So I think I kind of fast-forwarded, I accidentally fast-forwarded, the very, beginning of right before she opened up. But anyway, when I get to where I press play at, Heather was showing her ex-husband around, and, she it kind of feels like, to a degree, that she was trying to get his approval a little bit about what it is that she, had accomplished, which is not necessary. You don't need this man to be like, oh, you did a great job. Fuck him. Like, who cares if he thinks you did a great job? Nigga, you're here to support the mother of your children. It's just that simple. Period. You can get out my face as far as I'm concerned. Mary comes through looking attacked. Why does Mary is so tacky. And this is the thing that bothers me the most about Mary. Mary swears because it's name brand that it's cute. She thinks that being that fashion is just stacking a whole bunch of name brands on each other and walking out the door. Why did she have two purses on? Why? What is up with the Janet Jackson we are a part of the rhythm nation? What's up with those gloves? I don't understand. It's very frustrating to me. Then Meredith came through with her little diamond mask, but now people didn't like it. I personally, it's not for me, but I've seen people with that on before. I think I've seen Rihanna with that before. It gave me, if y'all seen the No Frauds video, like Nicki Minaj, like in the beginning when she has that little mask, that's what it gave me. But whatever, it was cute for her. And I love how Mary gonna be like, oh girl, that's not fashion. Girl, you got your nerve with your lace, with that wig sitting. The wig is about to fall off your head, but you got your nerve. You looking like a fucking truck show. Like, she literally looks like a vintage truck show was dumped all over Mary, but you want to talk about somebody's fashion choice. Okay. So they all say hi to each other. Then you got Lisa and Meredith, they're talking, and Lisa pretty much is just like, this whole conversation is Lisa pretty much, she not copping please, but it's like she kind of trying to cop please for Jen, like, oh, I want to talk to her. I just don't think it's nice to, to segregate people and to put them off to the side. Like, that's not very nice, which it's not. But Meredith made a good point. She was like, okay, so a couple days ago, and then they showed, like, last week you was just saying how you didn't want to be her friend and how she's so toxic and all of this. And then on top of that, you claim you're my best friend and you know the shit that she's been saying about me, but you still want me to go over there and befriend her? Absolutely the fuck not. And like me, I appreciate Meredith. Meredith always said, I will never tell you who to be friends with. I just don't want nothing to do with her. And I'm here for that whole conversation. I was here for that. So then we go over, we see Mary and Whitney. They're on this oxygen machine. I'm telling you, rich people spend their money on the stupidest shit ever. Okay, they sitting there with an oxygen machine. Okay, Mary and Whitney is talking, and Whitney pretty much, I think Whitney told the truth when she said, like, she told her about the the Vegas trip, and she was just like, I just feel like since you're not here, Mary, like I was pretty much like her next like punching bag, like, you know what I mean, like you gone, so I'm the new target. And I do believe that. I do believe that with Mary not being around the group as much as she was this season, I do feel like Jen needed somebody else to go at, and so she picked Whitney, and yeah, that was just that. So then Jen walks in, and Whitney ends up coming up to her and talking to her. And I love Whitney because one thing I do appreciate about Whitney is going to tell you the truth. Now, what I was going to say earlier about Whitney is, has Whitney been messy as fuck? Absolutely. Absolutely messy, but she's also been real as hell, and I appreciate that whole thing. She said everything that she said to everybody, and she said to Jen's face, which is like, I feel like you're using me as you was using me as a punching bag. You was using me as your scapegoat, for whatever reason, for whatever it is that you're going through. You just used me, to pretty much beat up on, and I don't appreciate it. So Jen is like, at the event, Jen's like, I'm sorry, I just have to do better. But in her confession, she's like, I'm just gonna go, when they go low, I'm gonna go high, and I'm just gonna say what it is that I need to say to get through this night. So my thing is, did you really mean any of the apologies that you gave Jen tonight or not? That's my question. Did you really mean it, or did you just say it to place it everybody else so everybody could leave you alone? Because for all of that, you shouldn't have even came to this event. You could have kept your ass at home. But no, Jen wants to be seen at all times. So then Jen comes up to Meredith and she apologizes to her, and Meredith is like, I hear you and everything, but I need to see action versus words, and we'll see as time goes on, how you act and stuff like that. But like where I'm at right now, like pretty much they can never be friends the way that they were. And I understand that, like, especially if Meredith came to you and told, and she didn't tell nobody, first of all, that her and her husband was going through something, then she comes and she tells you that she was talking to somebody else, for you to take that information and go and tell everybody else, like I said, like Jen's gonna say, oh, I'm surprised that Meredith didn't accept my apology. Jen, you literally snapped the fuck out because Whitney told you something that had nothing to do with your husband at your husband's birthday party, and you felt like that was her attacking your family. Like Meredith said in her confessional, if I was to do that shit to Jen, do you really think that she would be cool, calm, and collected? Absolutely not. So I don't understand how you don't get why she's upset. What? Jen is delusional. She's freaking delusional. And so Heather comes over, and again, like I said, Jen is pretty much mad that Heather was holding her accountable. Heather pretty much went the fuck off and went in and let have about Jen treating her like shit, which is true. And this is the bar. This is the bar of the whole damn series. She said, "Bitch, I'm not on the Shaw Squad, okay? I'm not on your payroll. I am your friend, and I came to your room by myself to check on you, and you gave me your ass." I said, "Go off, Heather," because we have all, anybody who watched the show has all said that the Shaw Squad is literally there. It's paid friends. That's what the Shaw Squad is. They're paid friends for Jen, because Jen don't really have any real friends. You know what I mean? Because of the way she acts, pretty much, she don't have her husband around, and because she don't have any real friends, she pays people to come around her and to pretty much placate her and to be yes men. And I love that Heather said, "I'm not on your payroll. I am actually your friend. I'm not being paid to sit up here and be like, oh yeah, girl, you right, oh girl. No, I'm coming to tell you the truth, and you couldn't handle it." I said, yes, go off. And then Jen is like, and Jen in her confession is like, "I don't understand what more, Heather wants from me. I set up this whole shopping trip when we went to Vegas. I didn't do that for anybody else." Yeah, but you also forget to mention that at the end of that damn shopping trip, you snapped the hell out on her for absolutely no reason. You snapped on her and told her pretty much that she needed to not be friends with Whitney, although that is her cousin, that she needed to throw her cousin to the side to be on your side for absolutely no reason. Tell the whole story, Jen. Tell the whole story. But they end up apologizing, or she apologized, and they end up moving on. Let me see. This season of the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, I feel like it was extremely interesting. I feel like out of all of the franchises, it really, really does stick out to me. I feel like this franchise is not like any of the other ones in a lot of different ways. I've enjoyed it. So I've enjoyed that. I'll be back next season to review. I'll be here to review each part of the reunion. But y'all get in the comments, tell me what y'all think. I am out, boy.